Okay, so good news, that worked. I shut the center hose and I opened the one that comes to the drums. And we're getting an okay flow rate. I would actually think the flow is gonna be a little greater than that, but that's okay. As you can see, this hose is still going. This guy is cut off. And now we got glorious poopy water full of dead algae coming up to this drum. So this is gonna be interesting. When this baby fills, I'm kind of happy with that flow rate right now because I was a little nervous this guy would fill so quickly. I'd have like all heck breaking loose. I want to basically make sure as this thing fills that my Uniseals aren't leaking. Okay, so we're not yet to the top of that one, but when we get there, I hope I do not see a bunch of water flowing out of this. These Uniseals were awesome. Like, to get a 3-inch PVC pipe through a 3-inch Uniseal, you gotta lift some weights for a year in advance and make sure you have a good night's sleep, eat some vitamins, and it is difficult. So I used a heat gun, and I may do a separate video on that, but essentially I used a heat gun to warm up the Uniseal, nice and flexible. I put some silicone grease on the PVC, of course, and then, you know, all heck broke loose, like trying to shove it through there, but eventually you get it through, and I was very happy with the end product. So we got a little ways to go. This flow rate is, I don't know, maybe just 10 gallons a minute, something like that. You got to fill up 55-gallon drum. So far, looks a nice pea soup consistency, which is what I would expect. I did grow 24 catfish in this pool years back when I had, you know, there's an aerator in here but no filters. So the 24 catfish grew to be a pretty decent size, maybe like, you know, 18 inches. And they started to kick the bucket because there was no filter in there. So that was the end of that experiment. My joke is, you know, I was able to eat most of them, but so if I came in here and I saw like a catfish just like, not really doing so well, I would eat that guy. And if they were already dead, you know, they went out to the woods and became food for raccoons and whatever else is out there. So this disgusting water has been sitting in here for a few years. And now, finally, we're employing the drums and the filters, and I'm very happy about this. So I'll have some other videos to show like how this system is going to work. One consideration, you know, is the weight of these drums. 55 times 8.8 pounds per gallon is about, you know, 485 pounds. So each of these babies is going to be pretty heavy, and I definitely want to make sure, you know, the cinder block pillars are working well. I leveled all these, and I added some wood just to kind of support the drums a little bit better. I'll probably shove another 4-inch piece of wood in the center here just for kicks, because I want to make sure these things are supported well. I'm no expert in 55-gallon drums durability. I would imagine they're pretty durable, and but I don't want to screw around. I'm going to just add some more wood and make sure they're well supported. All right, so now the water level has reached above a couple of my Uniseals, so let's make sure we're not leaking. No water here, no water here. This guy is probably going to start filling up this drum once it gets a little bit further above the 3-inch PVC. And I can control that if I want to just have the white drum fill up. Of course, I can close this. These things are actually pretty tough to close, but I'll get 2 hands involved and make some grunting noises and close that off. But it probably will be a little while. Oh, I made a mistake. No, the water can't go into the next blue drum until it comes up and goes into the outlet pipe. So, forgive me. I don't have to worry about this. This is here so I can isolate this drum or this drum when I empty them. So now we're just waiting for this baby to get up to the top, and it's going to start draining into drum number 2. It's pretty good flow rate so far still. Very happy with how this is working. This is the first time we released the hounds. I want to make sure this Uniseal's not leaking. Nothing so far. Thank you, plastic company of, I think it's called the United States Plastic Company out of Ohio. Those guys are very responsive. Really highly recommend them. They got basically anything you can possibly need in the world of plastics. In particular, Uniseals of all shapes and sizes. So they were very useful. All right, so we got, a few more inches left here, and then we're gonna see going into drum 2. Exciting times. I'll eventually have to hook up the air. I've also found these pumps to be excellent. This brand is called High Blow, and these are for septic, applications. Some applications where you just need air blowing 24/7 all year long. So when that gets re-hooked up, you'll see a bubbler down at the bottom of this pool, sending up a bunch of micro bubbles, and that'll be fun. I'm gonna get that going as soon as I get these drums double checked here. All right, fun times. Then I'll set up the pump, the air pump. Now in we go. All right, so now we're flowing through this PVC into pump number 2. Thank you, Lord. I've had 0 disasters so far on pump number 1. I don't feel any water leaking out. Of course, that water level is never going to get higher than an inch or 2 below the lip. This drum does not look like it's listing or about to fall over and cause a major problem. Thank you, Lord. Happy about that. And now pump number 2 is filling nicely. So it's kind of fun, if I ever want to increase the flow to these filters, I can come over here and, essentially like reduce the flow on this hose. I would like to reopen this to some degree. So maybe I have these guys at like half capacity and this guy's at full capacity. We don't want flow to go ripping through here. We want things to be kind of like gentle, because this is all like bacteria based. It's gravity filtration plus bacteria filtration and eating of nutrients. So you can't be like blasting those guys with too much volume at once. Let's check some Uniseals. This video may be scattered because that's how my brain is, and I gotta just think about stuff as I think about stuff. So far so good. These seals are nice and dry. Really happy to see that, because I've never used Uniseals before. And like I said, pounding those babies, pushing pipe through Uniseals is a lot of work. It wasn't so bad for the 1.5 and the 1/2 inch Uniseals, but the 3-inch Uniseals, man, that was really hard. And the designer of this filtration system, he said the same. His name's Terry. He is awesome. I'll probably add his information at some point. But that dude is wonderful, and he's built a number of these things. So I highly recommend him. I think the plans were only $20, but that was pre-COVID dollars. So now they could have gone up. I don't know. $20 used to buy like 3 people's meals at Subway, but now it does not. Okay, so full drum number 1. This is the vortex tub, and as you can see, it's going to start to get a gentle swirl in there. I did clockwise in this drum just because the pool is going to be counterclockwise, and I felt like that would, like, cancel things out somehow. Counterclockwise energy will dissipate into clockwise energy, and then we'll get just nice neutral things. It's just how my brain works. Probably means nothing, but it's kind of fun to think about. Okay, got some air burping out. Again, really happy with how that looks. Pretty level. I used rock dust down here, to level things, because it's easy to work with. I ran the holes of the cinder blocks all in one direction, so just in case if we ever cared to run lines through here, we can do that. And the electrician Kenny today set up the pump. He ran the conduit through there. I think that's kind of, you know, helps on safety. I think, like, I can't trip over that if it's down there in between these drums. All right, I'm gonna take a break and jump back in when this starts to, this is only gonna fill as high as these holes. And then later on tonight, I'm gonna come back and add the media, which has been soaking in the pool for a matter of weeks. I bought these weeks ago, and one of the things is, like, they're very buoyant. Actually, I think I have one in my pocket here that I used to make sure I didn't cut these holes too large. So here is a piece of the K1 media. It looks like a delicious piece of pasta. Can't remember the pasta that's nice and small that you can eat in soups. Dentilli or something like that. Anywho, this small little bit is going to have a lot of surface area for bacteria to grow on, and they're going to swirl around in here and help eat nutrient, and then go back to the pool. These guys will stay here, but that's why these holes are here. And you know, this water is probably going to start to drain out as soon as it gets to the first few layers of these holes. Like when the filter media is in here, it may water will move through the system a little bit slower because these guys are going to be trying to block these holes. But of course, you know, water will still get through. Anywho, we're almost there. I'm going to go ahead and pause it and bring you back in a little bit.